wrong spots. I guess you gotta open the show this
Sure.
time. All right, what's up, everybody? This is Have You Seen This? I'm one of the hosts. Daniel. This is my co-host Snark. We're gonna get into actually a lot of random superhero news today, as well as one minor merger of streaming services, a little bit of news,
Another one.
and then basically just talk about the bunch of different shows we're watching because they're piling up now.
There's a lot. There's a lot of shows. I was realizing that I was like, watch this all week or whatever, and then I got my other stuff I have to do, murder people, etc. And then
Yes.
I got to today. It's like, well, I still have 2 shows I still have to watch, and they're 2 episodes each. It's like, ugh. Okay, I got to push through it, and I'm glad I did. The both shows I watched today were very good. But
I watched 6 episodes of a show that I wasn't even planning on watching, and then I watched the first one, and I was like, okay, this is it.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that a little bit.
I've had a couple 1-episode runs of shows. We may be talking about
it. Fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we can get into the first little bit. The first thing I learned since our last episode was the Boys Red Band trailer, and I sent that to our chat immediately. I was like, this is our first news topic because it's the first thing I wanted to talk about. I thought like the teaser was really fun.
Yeah.
I think June is close enough that like I am not expecting a ton of waiting, The boys are back indeed. And honestly, there are some spoilers in this trailer that I'm not even sure I want to talk about yet.
Okay. Are you talking about the stuff that's going on with Butcher?
Yes, specifically.
Okay. See,
yeah,
like there's 2 ways you could think of that's the way they're going to go with it, but we'll see.
Yeah,
who knows?
I am curious to see whether or not he chose to do that, and that's all I kind of want to say about it. But we also got our first look at Jensen Ackles, who is joining the cast, and I believe joining the 7. I don't know exactly where Soldier Boy fits in, but he is essentially Captain America. At first, the boys and the 7 that we got originally were very, very, very close to the Justice League and their counterparts. But over the course of its run, the boys has made a ton of different references to both Marvel and DC heroes all over the place. And I mean, a speedster's a speedster, no matter what universe you put them in, really.
I don't know. I wouldn't consider the Deep anything like Namor or whatever. Just has the same kind of qualities where he likes swimming, but he's almost a direct ripoff of Aquaman, and make fun of him in the Aquaman style that social media has made fun of Aquaman for the last 30 years or whatever it's been. So, if you don't want to get too into it, then that's good. But there's some friggin' funny bits in this. It's not even a 2-hour clip, and it's like yes. I can't wait. It's one of my favorite things to watch for sure.
And speaking of like the boys in general, like last season, and kind of like I've been excited and not because I don't actually read the comics, so I don't know the story that I'm getting into. I don't know what changes they've made, etc. But I do like I read up on some of the people before they show up. Like I kind of wanted to know who Aya Cash's character last season was, because I knew her from You're the Worst, and I had been watching that, and then I heard that she was going to be on The Boys, and I was like, I'm super excited. What character is this? And I look it up, and it is an insane ass character. And then like Stormfront is one of the most like hilariously terrible freaking characters. Like she's honestly like it is laughable how bad she is, and it's Bellatrix Lestrange if she never like cackled with laughter. Like she's way too serious.
Oh, yeah. Yes. One thing you think of when you think of Stormfront is how hilarious she is.
No, it's hilarious how terrible she is. Like she's again, it's hilarious that she's not hilarious. Like she doesn't laugh at all, and compared to the other character, like who very much is funny, it's very difficult. Like it's very different.
I love it. I loved season 2 of The Boys. Like usually when they had when the first Boys came out, I thought it was great or whatever, but it's one of those rare shows I thought was even better in its second season. So I can't wait for season 3. And again, I have no idea. I have no idea who Soldier Boy is. I don't even really have a good idea who Jensen Ackles is. I'm sure I've seen him in things. Is he from like Prison Break?
Right. No, he's Dean from Supernatural.
Oh, okay.
He's one of the Winchester brothers. So
right. No, was he in an episode of Buffy? Was that the guy? Was he in the
It's possible just because, but I'm not sure on timelines. Buffy was quite a while ago. But like Buffy ends in 2003 and Supernatural starts in 2005. So
I'm thinking
right around the same time.
Okay. I might be thinking of someone else. Right. But yeah, I am intrigued of what's going on with Butcher, especially considering who he is and how he hates suits and stuff like that. To actually, if he actually does have powers, what's he going to do with them? It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah. And like I don't know if it's just teasing us and it's going to be like a fake out, or if it is real. And if it is, I really want to know if he did it to himself or it was done to him.
Yeah. No, like that was my first reaction was this is probably a dream sequence or something they're just kind of faking us out with. But who knows with all that V going around, who knows?
I know. I mean, the first one, I was like, yeah, dream sequence. It's not even fully. And then later, I was just like, I don't know. They're showing this a lot.
I did like laser eyes, so more laser eyes content from The Boys. Did you
laser eyes are great.
Did you finish watching the cartoon?
I have not. I've watched 3 or 4 episodes now. I've been kind of like slowing it, and I generally will watch 1 or 2 of them with my buddy when he drives me home from work, and then I watch one of those while we're just sitting around chatting before I leave.
Sure.
And yeah, so watching them slowly, but really enjoying it. I just watched.
You're gonna savor The Boys cartoon.
Yes, because I didn't do that. I couldn't do that with the series. I wanted it like I was mad if I couldn't watch the next episode.
Wow.
So, yes.
All right.
Yes. I really like this show.
Yeah. So we're gonna have The Boys going on. We're gonna have Ben Kenobi going on. Anything else going on around then? When does
well, The Boys, yes, I actually have the date down here somewhere.
It's going to be the new March.
Prepared.
Maybe it's the new March.
Boys is June 3rd. Yes, it will be. Because June 3rd is The Boys, and then June 8th is a teaser that just dropped today, and I watched it minutes before we came online, and that's the Miss Marvel trailer.
Yeah.
The Disney Plus show comes June 8th. I'm also very excited for that one.
It looked fucking rad.
Wow, that is awful. That title was so bad.
I did that one for my phone. Marvel. I did that one for my phone. My bad. Sorry.
How dare you? How dare
the R just went in completely the wrong place.
I think we just got hijacked.
Sorry. It came up and like my head literally crashed because I was like, wait, no, Mrs. Maisel is later. And then I was like, no, that doesn't read that either.
I thought it said Talking Miss Marvel. So yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, so Miss Marvel is actually, I really do not know a lot about her character, except I know she is, I've always been meaning to go and read her comic run, and now I want to kind of, I'm not sure if I want to wait or do it beforehand. But
I think she's part of like I think there's some cartoon shows that she's parts of that you can watch right now that doesn't delve too deeply into her stuff, I believe. And I know that they put her in that newest Avengers game and stuff like that. I know that there's been other characters named maybe it's Miss Marvel, not Ms. Marvel. Maybe there is a difference between those two characters. I'm not too hardcore on the lore. All I know is that I always thought like she had elasticy powers because things you'd see of her, like her arms would grow and stuff like that. So I was figuring something like a Reed Richards style character that can twist herself up. But no, she's got all kinds of stuff she can do. Like that, like have the shield or whatever. It's almost like she's a mix of Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Like she can build force fields and she can have platforms run under her feet or whatever. It doesn't look like she can fly or anything like that, but she can do lots of crazy shit like that. So lots of stuff that we haven't seen before in a Marvel hero yet. Especially, I don't know. She's probably not a street level hero. Like if she's probably going to be in Avengers. So. Oh, they changed the powers for her show. Oh, this guy knows so much. So he so putting it back in the school, a Peter Parker style, maybe show or whatever, origin series. That's great. That's fine.
Yeah, and actually, I hadn't even thought about that, and even though it is kind of part of her character of being the young teenager and also from a very like conservative culture and all of that, and her parents are not like approving of her both love of superheroes and then her becoming a superhero later. And it is a very interesting story that, like, again, my brothers have read all of it and told me a bunch of things, but it's only just like the things I remember and grasped onto were like, yeah, it is a coming of age story that I'm really interested in watching, and also it will be fun to see some of those newer Marvel characters that like
well those are starting to come now, right?
Yeah,
they got that one. They got Ironheart's going to be out at some point here soon as well. So yeah, a lot of these characters that I've heard of before, but I've never been able to read anything, read comics. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the hell it's all about.
We've technically still got a Vision floating around there somewhere, so we could get some. I believe they're the West Coast Avengers.
Yes, I remember having West Coast Avengers comics when I was a kid, and those were, but this, a long time ago. Those are guys like Hercules and Hawkeye was the head of the West Coast Avengers for a while. Vision was there. Scarlet Witch would go between East Coast and West Coast.
So actually, I may be thinking of Great Lakes is the ones that are all of the children's.
Is the Great Lakes the one with like Squirrel Girl?
Yeah, it's like Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, Stature. There's a couple others. Hulkling is a new Avenger, I believe. I don't know. There's a lot of them.
I know he has I heard that Hulk had a kid on that Planet Hulk or whatever. I think there was a version of that where he had a kid. Can't remember the kid's name. I just remember him having long hair. But yeah, I never heard of a Hulkling before. But I know they also had that show that had 5 different Hulks or whatever. That there was a cartoon show that had the Red Hulk and Gray Hulk and blah 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 Hulk. She-Hulk was. I don't even know if She-Hulk was in there. That's another show I can't wait to see. That's another character I grew up with. She-Hulk. Remember She-Hulk from the Fantastic Four of all things. It's going back away.
Spider-Man almost joined the Fantastic Four, I believe.
Yep.
But yes, so to jump off of superheroes for just a second, yes, I did notice when I was looking through, there was a bit of actual news, but it's pretty minor, and I think mostly applies to the States, doesn't really apply to us. I'm not even sure where our Discovery content is found currently, but Discovery Plus and HBO Max are merging into one streaming service since their acquisition by AT&T, I think. Whichever one. There's been so many acquisitions of the Warner Brothers properties that it's very hard to keep track of which global entity owns them at the moment. But we can say that those two services will be smashed into one service, and you can just watch all of the Discovery content on HBO Max. I believe the Discovery Plus CEO joins as CFO of the newly merged Warner Time Warner Brothers Discovery Max Showtime. They don't own Showtime, but
they got to come up with a more neat evil name like Globocom or something like that.
That if they're smart, they just call it the Looney Tunes Corporation.
Dear God. CFO Daffy Duck.
That's actually, yes, they changed the term CFO to Daffy Duck.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It's you're not the CFO of the company, you're just the Daffy Duck.
You're Daffy now. Dumb Daffy.
Also, how dare you? Daffy is the head Looney Tune.
What?
Daffy's my favorite.
Bugs Bunny will roll. Yes, I 100% agree. Bugs Bunny is rolling in his grave right now.
Bah. You, sir. Yeah. So yeah, just a little bit of actual news sprinkled into a bunch of superhero talk because, and also, Space Jam 2 spoilers. I literally couldn't spoil Space Jam 2 if I tried.
Never seen either of them. I heard that the first one had Bill Murray, though, so I was like, oh, should I say? God damn it. I've heard that movie is so fucking bad. I would just be angry for an hour and a half or whatever I was watching.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it. I've definitely seen it. I even think I remember liking the first Space Jam, but I do think that you can't enjoy it past the age of 6.5. So I'm really not sure if I want to go back and watch it.
I remember they had a really great music video, like that "Hit 'Em High, Hit 'Em Low" or whatever. I loved that song when I was, in the 90s, whatever that was, 93, 94. I was too old to say how old I was. God damn it.
And last little bit of news that I have is, and I, again, just saw that there was a teaser that came up. It's also coming out in June, towards the end of June. So I actually think this is a Netflix series, so they might be dropping a whole series at once. Can't remember exactly what their release schedule has been in the past. But The Umbrella Academy is also coming back for another season. That's from the My Chemical Romance guy. Just sure. And honestly, yes. Wow. But yes, so I really have enjoyed this series. It was unlike The Boys, where I went and I kind of looked it up and I kind of had a vague idea. I had no idea what the Umbrella Academy was when I booted up episode 1. And then I had no one to talk about this show with, because it was such a niche thing, and so many people like watched a couple of episodes and then moved away from it. But I really, really like this show. I find it insane, and I never know what's going on. I still have these insane theories about the show, but some of them have evolved and some of them disappear as time goes on. And I really like when a show makes me do that.
So this show is worth picking up and slogging through. Like, I found that first episode at least was a little hard getting through. I get the idea with all the kids were born on the same day, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And see, so that starts the first conspiracy, because like there were like 37 of them or whatever. And like, sure, maybe not all of them are still living to this day, but he's only got like 7 of them. And so where are the others? But that's a whole other story that they never even get into.
And one of them's a monkey? Was that the one?
No, I believe the monkey is a friend of the dad. He's like their Alfred. The monkey is Alfred.
All right. So you're saying, is it worth me catching up in the first couple of seasons so that we can watch this third season?
I mean, it depends. Like, it's honestly, I do find it worth it, because I think, especially in the end of the first season, and I knew a little bit of this because I started looking at some of it halfway through, but Vanya has the best like Dark Phoenix storyline that we've seen on screen so far. Like,
well, you know what? To be fair, that's not that difficult, because they tried to do it twice and they fucked it both times. Drive me fucking nuts.
And they do it pretty well. She is, again, like, originally it looks like she doesn't have powers, but then, you know, obviously it's because she has the most powerful powers and they need to be kept in check, and that's why they were suppressed, all of that.
Yeah, that 100% is Dark Phoenix.
Exactly. And then she goes crazy at the end and almost kills everybody and almost causes the end of the world. And you know,
I think Stan Lee should have sued for some of that My Chemical Romance money. Shocked.
I'm sure he's got enough of his own.
Spoiler alert, I don't think he cares too much right now.
True. But yes, I started watching it. I also, like you, I did slog through the first episode. The first episode is not like as much like it's not a like recipe for the entire show, because it is very much setting up, you know, multiple different characters and the way that they need to interact with each other. And it's also set at a funeral, which is difficult. But yes, zany hijinks ensue from episode 2 on, and
it gets a little more fun, does it?
It really does.
Dark and sloggy, like listening to a My Chemical Romance album.
There is darkness, but it's, you know, it's baked in with a lot of crazy shit. And every time 5 is on screen, wild things are about to happen.
Okay.
5 is the one who is stuck as a child, who may not even be there at the beginning. I know, yes, it's confusing, but 5 is kind of a time traveler, I believe is his power. And so he can also teleport around, and that's what he mainly uses it for, because time traveling too far is very dangerous, and you can fuck up timelines and this and that. That's the whole second season. But yeah, 5 is literally a child who is also the oldest of them. Like I think he's like 50 something, but or maybe even older than that. But also he is like 14, and the rest of them are adults.
All right, so they're not like, it isn't like born on the same day kind of thing. Like that one, like
no. He travels back in time after the apocalypse to try and stop, like basically group the set of them together to try and revert this apocalypse. It's a very confusing story.
All right.
And basically he lives through this apocalypse and then lives to be a very old man, and then some spoiler stuff happens that I don't want to reveal all of, and then he travels back in time but gets his calculations wrong, and so he comes back not as his old self but as the 14-year-old version of himself. So he doesn't even nail whatever year it is, like 2019. He doesn't even get his 2019 body. He gets his like 2011 body in 2019. Like he really messes up time travel.
All right. Well, see if I'll try and get through it, because we have all this time to ourselves, and there isn't 14 other shows we're watching. But
absolutely.
June 8th, you're saying for
June 8th is Miss Marvel. June 22nd is Umbrella Academy season 3.
That fucking June, eh? God damn it! All right. Well, at least some of these other shows will have stopped by then, so it's going to free up a little bit of space, as long as nothing big opens in April into. There isn't anything that opens big in April, right? Oh wait, there is. Oh my god! How dare you?
Damn it, Dave.
Moon Knight starts at the end of March too, right? So we have Moon Knight through April.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Although, yeah, and then I think it would make the most sense that, when does ObiWan go?
May 25th.
Wow, that's is definitely going to overlap. I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised they didn't move that up farther, like closer to the start of May, so that you could literally watch Moon Knight and then Kenobi and then Miss Marvel and never miss a gap in your scheduled programming.
Are you saying you wanted Obi-Wan Kenobi to start like May the 4th?
That would be kind of perfect, yeah.
How dare you, sir? That's too easy.
Oh, if it is only 4 episodes, then and yes, if it's only a couple of episodes, then it wouldn't be so bad and would only overlap by a week or so. And they did that a little bit with their previous series. I think Mando started 1 week as into one of the other shoys.
Do we know how
I can't remember
Moon Knight is? If Moon Knight's only 8 episodes, then it runs to right at the exact same time.
Yes, I was more concerned with Kenobi at the end of May, and then Miss Marvel at the first week of June. Yeah. And especially because new Marvel property, very, very old and beloved Star Wars property, I can see one eating the other.
I wonder if it has something to do, maybe less like their beginning of their fiscal year or something like that, and they put out 2 huge properties at one time just to get those subscriptions numbers and stuff like that, so they know how to charge
possibly
people.
Yeah. They count up subs in July, so they're just trying to make that June count high.
Yeah. So they would be both, they would have all their stuff or whatever going for when July comes around and stuff like that. So it makes sense.
I'm not even sure. At this point, doesn't Disney just run the world?
How dare you?
I think they just say what happens, and those are the those are the numbers now.
Oh shit! I'd like to praise my mouse masters. Please be vigilant and do not smite me, but go ahead and smite Daniel. He's been talking shit.
They're just like, oh, we put out a Spider-Man movie. It made $1 billion. And anyone's like, did you check that? And they're like, we made $1 billion. Oh. We're Disney. But yeah. So that's about it for the undiscovered TV shows at the moment. But we can get into the shows we have been watching.
Okay.
I wanted to start a little bit with the last few episodes of Mrs. Maisel. Mm-hmm. We did not talk about any of that last week because we were doing
Survivor.
A very, very fun draft. Yeah. And we will talk about that a little bit as well.
Looks like I've already won the damn thing. 1 week on. Looks like I'm already the winner, guys. I fucking did it. I knew it. 100%.
And yeah, so I caught up with all of the currently aired episodes of Mrs. Maisel over the weekend. Mm-hmm. And I'm really enjoying like the latter half of this season. I was kind of confused where it was going, but I believe there are 2 more episodes coming out.
Is there? Because the way they ended this one, it sure seemed like it could have just, that was it. Like
I checked. Okay. I got worried, and I didn't
like bonus or something like that at the end. Like when I was looking, I was like, oh shit, is that the end of the season?
So I didn't literally Google, is there more episodes in this season? Yeah. But what I did check was, oh shit, there might not be.
So you like the second half? I had a weird reaction to the season. It's like I really like every second episode, but the last like the 2 that came out this past weekend, I like them both, which is good. Well, I like every episode. There's more that I like more than others. But that 5th that one where Moise has his heart attack was my favorite episode of the year so far. And then this past one, there was a lot of it that I was disappointed in, that I didn't want to have happen. But hopefully, like by the end, I think the end saved it for me. But yeah, the meat of that 8th episode, like it honestly disappointed me. Like I didn't think it ever had to go there. But, now you just go forward from there and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting to see. It ended very well. That's why I was saying, like, this is, so this is how they ended the season this year. I guess because they promised another one or whatever, they're going to make this one shorter or something like that. But if there's 2 more episodes, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. Because they're going to be put out next week, right? Or this week. It'll be put out.
I did just look it up, and it does look like it was only 8 episodes for this one. Right. It's confusing because there were 10 episodes in the other 2 seasons and then 8 in the first. So I really had no idea what to think. Yeah. And then I was hoping for some more episodes that might kind of might add on to that. I was hoping for a decision of hers, honestly, by the end of it.
I think she made a decision what she wants to do, right? By the end of
that, but I was hoping there was going to be something more spoken, especially because of how much of this show is about Midge declaring things. Like, it would have been nice for her to actually say something, or call Susie or whatever. But it was good. I really love Lenny's speech at the end. That is like the most insane thing, and I thought it was really great. And I've also like I've enjoyed the season because I've been like disagreeing with everything most of the time. Like all of the like kind of trying to jump over the comedy scene. And even though like prior to that, it seemed like she had such a strong grasp on what it took and what everything took. And then like I would expect the small bit of success to have changed that, but also the big ass humiliation she suffered at the end of the third season. I'm surprised like that message would have stayed with her. Like when you become like, the big break is great, but when it comes with a fall that was even worse, I'm surprised she came out of that thinking like no second acts, and then proceeds to literally spend the whole season being a second act. But
an MC, not even in a second act. They were never there to see her.
The MC bit, and like you see throughout the course of the season, more and more people do start going to see her, and like it's very clear when you look at the stage, like she's been directing that show. She mentions it at the beginning, when they're all like running into each other, and then she suggests them practicing, and then by the end there's a whole set piece and all of that. Like,
how is this place a little hidden illegal strip club when it has like Broadway style sets? What the fuck? Oh, but nobody knows about this place.
The skills. Yeah. But also, there were like 6 police officers, like 1950.
I like the the raid was a good bit. There was some good bits in there. I liked it.
The raid was really fun too, and I just thought that like, and I meant more when she goes and does the oh man, what's the other agent's name, or what's the other client's name?
The magician.
But when she does the morning show for Sophie.
Oh, okay, yeah. When she, yeah,
and doing Sophie's morning show and then literally ruining it. Well, both of them ruining it because they cannot get along.
Sophie was getting jealous, so of course she had to jump in there. So, there was, this season was filled with a lot of great scenes, but it was very much not the best season they've done. I would put it to
no, and honestly, that's why I kind of expected 2 more episodes, because it's the second to last season. If you're looking at the structure of the seasons, this should be a high moment, and instead it went out on one, and several of the other seasons have ended on high moments for the character. Whereas this one has been a rather low moment. I mean, season 3 didn't, but then that's why I wonder if they thought season 4 might have been the last season, and then because of COVID, they extended it and decided
maybe they filmed 16 episodes, didn't tell anybody, and just split the season in half like that, or just I came back to do a couple episodes just to fill it in at the end. No, I really did like the way that it ended. I thought it ended perfect. That's the way the season should have ended. Maybe some other stuff should have happened during the season that I thought would be better, but now she has something to build to. Like she wants to get onto that TV show in my head or whatever. Now it's like she wants to get onto that Ford show. So so she has a goal now for the rest of the series is to get onto the couch or whatever for that show. I guess what it's supposed to be, that universe is Tonight Show, I'm supposing.
Yes, I believe. Like he's a late night host, and I do wonder if it's more ambitious than that. Yeah. And I would find it very hilarious if she gets to become a talk show host and Sophie doesn't, because that was Sophie's dream.
Well, and being in the 90s and stuff like that, that'd be incredible.
I thought it was interesting that they both want to be on the Gordon Ford show so badly. Right. So if you were running that whole bit with Sophie all season, I'm surprised that is Mitch's goal, which is why I think maybe the desk rather than the chair.
Yeah. Maybe she just wants to take one last thing from Sophie. Beat Sophie.
That's also possible. Like,
yeah. Better Midge Maisel is a funny Midge Maisel.
Yes, every now and then you run into a person who is both so similar and so different than yourself that you cannot, in any way, shape, or form, like, be nice to each other at all.
That's true.
And, you know, it happens. You just got to roll with it.
That's true.
Also, we were gonna talk a little bit about Bel Air, but apparently there was no Bel Air episode this weekend.
No Bel Air for Canada this week. I have no idea what that was about either. It's like, that was my Monday thing. I get home and I watch it. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, they've already aired them? What the hell's the problem? Goddamn Canada. Fuck. But yes, it's not like we didn't have a ton of other shit.
Blame Canada.
How dare you?
And yeah, so I guess I semi-prepared for this because I watched 6 whole episodes of this random show on Amazon Prime. I even thought it was Netflix, but turns out I watched this on Prime.
How dare you?
But it's called Laugh Out Loud. It's a game show sort of thing. There have been several seasons in Australia. There was one in Brazil. There was a French one. There was a million of them when I was looking around. For some reason, couldn't find an American one. I don't know if that's kept behind a different paywall or if they just didn't make one yet.
They may not have made one.
I don't actually know. But it's the conceit of the show is you get a bunch of comedians and you shove them into they made it like a talk show set and studio, and you just shove them in there. They have 6 hours, 2 strikes each. If you laugh, you lose.
Okay.
And
so they're only there for, like, by the looks of it and stuff like that. I thought maybe it was like a Big Brother house or something like that, where you're there all the time, and that way it's pretty easy not to laugh out loud when you want to joke each other. But so they're only in there for a bit, and their sole purpose is just to get somebody else to laugh. Now, all of them are all of them there at the same time?
Yes, all 6. Not all 6. It's like 10 comedians at first.
Okay. So I knew there was Tom Green and Dave Foley's there.
Dave Foley, Colin Mockery, John Lajoie, which I thought was very hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like, they start bringing out the contestants, and I think it's Trevor K. Wilson comes out. He's a lesser known comedian, but kind of sounds and looks a little bit like Seth Rogen. But he really like, I recognized him from something. I believe just like a Netflix stand-up thing that I had seen. And then they bring out what's her name from Sabrina?
God. I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of her name right now. The aunt.
Yeah.
Right.
And she comes out, and I'm like, holy shit, I know this person. And then John Lajoie comes out, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, until that point, I was really expecting, and I didn't really watch the trailers when I would see them play on my YouTube ads.
Right.
And so I didn't know the contestants going in. I was just like, I'll check this thing out. I'm bored. And yeah, all of these people, and then like the big names like Dave Foley and Colin Mockery and freaking Tom Green come out, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? And like the last contestant, I can't remember exactly who it was, but I was sitting there and I turned to my buddy and I'm like, hey, if fucking Mike Myers walks out of that door, I'm going to lose my shit. Because it was like, again, like these insanely funny freaking Canadian people. Yeah. And I was surprised who they were able to pull and convince to do this bullshit. And okay. it was very amusing.
So I just looked up, it's Caroline Ray. That's who you were
thinking of. Yeah.
Jay Baruchel's the host?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he sits in like a what's the Woods movie?
Woods?
Daniel Radcliffe, I believe.
Oh, I don't know.
Not Daniel Radcliffe? I don't know. Anyway, it's yes, Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, okay.
He sits in a like back room, like camera room, and he has a million different camera angles of the entire studio, and he's watching for the people laughing. And
okay. So he's like a ref.
Yeah, and he's got a red button and a green button. Mm-hmm. And if he catches someone smiling or laughing, he hits the red button, he comes out, and he gives them either a yellow card or a red card.
You're not even allowed to smile?
No.
Wow.
And yeah, if you make yourself laugh, you also take one of those strikes as well. And so the whole thing is every one of them just trying to keep the straightest face they possibly can, or doing just like heavy breathing to try and stop themselves from laughing. And it's really, really fun.
How many episodes did you say?
6. They're about half an hour each.
Okay, so it's not a big slog to get through it.
No, I guess essentially they cut out about 2 hours, or they cut out about half, so 3 hours of the 6, and you watch about 3 hours worth of it.
Oh, I didn't know if it was like they filmed 6 hours at a time waiting for this stuff to happen, but it's just one 6-hour thing or whatever that was filmed.
Yeah.
Okay. All
right. They're locked in for 6 hours, and right. there are some twists and turns, like at the 1 hour 30 minute left, they come in, and anybody who like basically hasn't eliminated anybody is put on notice at that point. And then there are other little challenges that are imposed by Jay Baruchel, and then there are random guest appearances that show up and try and break people, and all sorts of interesting things happen. And honestly, I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, but to
be honest, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this might be a little cheesy." I thought it was more game showy than that and stuff like that. So yeah, I think 6 half-hour episodes is not hard. And there's and tacos on the show, so it's gonna be good.
I was not sure exactly how to think of it. Like I'm not one for like a lot of reality TV, so I wasn't sure how much of the Big Brother vibe was going to be played up or anything.
Right,
we're locked in here together, but no, it was really just. It was a lot more competition than anything, and a lot of their talking head videos were discussing that exact thing of just I'm sitting here with, and you got John Lajoie talking about sitting here with his legends, his heroes, because Dave Foley, Colin Mockery, and Tom Green sitting around, and you're just like, oh my god, what's happening? And so a lot of fun, very, very interesting, especially the different styles of comedy that were used and displayed too were very interesting.
Okay. And so I'm imagining that Jean Lajoie had brought his guitar or something like that.
He does play some music, yes.
Okay. Like, and if it's some of the songs that I know he does, I wouldn't have lasted past the first chorus and stuff like that. Yeah, and like if he played the birthday song, that'd be it. Well, I don't care that I've heard it a million times. I'd start laughing as soon as I heard the first note.
I think he actually makes like purely original music, and he only plays music once or twice. Maybe it's possible the other ones were cut out, but yeah.
Okay, like on the show, it's like plays music once or twice. I think he has a band. It's called something with the Wolf or something like that. Yeah, he has a folk band. Like he does like just legit songs and stuff like that now. But I'm talking like back in the day and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like Show Me Your Genitals style Jean Lajoie.
And like I think the reason he doesn't do it too much is because everybody is expecting that as well. Like they're like a lot of everybody was expecting like physical comedy from Colin Mockery. Like they expected crazy physical improvisation, and he does deliver that a lot. But it's harder to use the thing everybody's used to watching you do.
Right. Yeah, like that's the guy who I would have expected to do well just because he's so used to doing improv stuff. But you know, he isn't doing a set. Like he's not. I don't know if you're supposed to be acting while you're doing that. I don't know if it's just supposed to be talking to each other.
Although he makes a great point at one point along those lines, is it makes it so much tougher to do that because a comedian's instinct is to laugh.
Yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to be funny if you don't enjoy jokes? Is kind of like this argument he's trying to make at one point. And it's just like, so yeah, I want to laugh at every single thing that has come out of anyone's mouth today. It's all been hilarious.
But I've also heard the opposite. I've heard like the biggest comedians and stuff like that have they break it down. They break jokes down so much that they know what's funny. They know what's hilarious, but they don't laugh just because it's almost like scientific to them at this point. It's like, okay, yeah, that was really good. That was great. That was great. That was the whole thing with the Norm Macdonald going on to that last comic standing or whatever. So he could break down all the jokes and he wouldn't laugh. You'd hardly ever see him even crack a smile.
Yeah, but there's a difference between like somebody like doing something funny and doing a stand-up bit.
Yeah.
I understand where they're coming from there because you would see the structure. But a lot of this was, improvisational comedy and and doing silly things with props or sound or like, and that's another thing comedians will talk about too, is finding non-jokes funny. Like if you want to make a comedian laugh, don't tell a joke, walk into a door, essentially. Like like anything will make a comedian laugh except telling them a stand-up joke. No comedian wants to hear a stand-up joke because
they've heard the version of it 100,000 times.
Yeah. The best case scenario is they have better jokes than that, and the worst case scenario is you walk up to a stand-up comedian and tell a better joke than they have. And now they're upset.
No kidding. So now you watched the Canada one. Are you interested in watching like the Australian one, anything like that? The French one?
I kind of do want to go check out some of them. I first want to figure out what the original is.
Right.
And I think that might be, I mean, the original English language one might be the Australian one because it seemed to have more seasons.
Okay.
And everything else I was looking at only had one. But I don't know if this actually was developed somewhere else. And I have been oblivious to it until it was in Canada.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything. Like, yeah, I'd heard of like the last comic standing, so I didn't know. So I didn't know if that was like a version of that kind of thing. Last one laughing. Okay, and on Amazon. So yeah, I think that's something I can get into. That might be something I can even watch while I'm doing like counting money at work or something like that. You know what I mean? That's not something that I have to be visually attuned to all the time and stuff like that. I can take a couple of minutes while they're just talking about stuff. So those are always my favorite things to watch. Like I had to try and watch Mrs. Maisel today at work. So it took me a little while to get some stuff done today, but eventually did it.
Yeah, that actually the earlier seasons were a lot easier for that, because I always knew there was going to be a stand-up set that I could get something done during.
Yeah, like the longest stand-up set of the whole season was done by her mom.
It was hilarious. And yes, to bring it back to that for just a second, you did mention earlier the episode 5 being one of the funniest ones. And yes, the only thing funnier than the synagogue scene was the Catholic Church one. And that's just perfect. He's just explaining it to Rose, and she like realizes it 2 seconds before, and she's like, "You didn't," and he's like, "I did."
Also, what's up with a matchmaker mafia that's going around New York? Holy shit! She's got a horse's head in her bed one day for sure.
That was like, especially because Mrs. Maisel has always had a million plots going. Like I would describe that as a like C or D plot of the season, but I could have taken it as the B, honestly.
Yeah, it was great. Anytime you get more Abe and Rose, I'm all for it.
And it did take a while, but I do really enjoy the last few episodes of Susie setting up the business and all of that. The first few episodes, wasn't sure what they were doing with her this season, but ever since then, and ever since that Joel episode, really, where they go to the play together. Yeah, and she's been killing it, and I really like all the scenes when it cuts to her management firm.
Yeah.
The clothesline, the weird gangsters hanging around all the time. It's all great.
The magician. Oh yeah, so good.
The telephone line that doesn't exist. I've never seen a phone like this before. It's like, I've seen a phone like this before, and I live in the 2000s.
How dare you?
We actually used to have one. One of those old school friggin' rotator. Very, very interesting things.
How dare you?
Now, like, do people even pick up phones anymore? You just like shout at it and it calls people for you.
Oh my god, I still do. I still try and do the rotary thing on this. Never worked.
I'm sure you could get one.
Ugh,
I'm almost positive they would give you one. Like you could get a widget or whatever you would call it, and you could like rotate on your smartphone. Yeah, I might go do that.
When you have to dial the 0 because you have to wait for it to go and then all the way.
Yeah.
The word. And I remember my old phone number used to have like the last 4 digits were 0489, so it used to take forever to call it.
Yeah, I've had that problem. Bunch of my friends in elementary school, when we had that phone, were like, all of their digits were like the 7, 8, 9 range, and it's like, oh my god. Takes me longer to call people than I am on the phone for.
Well, things were harder back then. God damn it.
Hey.
We used to walk uphill to school both ways.
Yes.
You don't believe me?
Because the tectonic plates were still shifting.
God damn it.
That's the only way you're going uphill both ways. I'm just saying.
Listen.
Mountains are forming while you're going to school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I do think it's still much preferable to having to pick up a phone, call a person who then had to connect two different wires to another person. So you had to like time your phone call like with a letter, essentially.
Oh my God.
You sent a letter to make sure that they were ready for the phone call at this precise time. Got the day off for Pensia.
Oh my
God. And yeah, so what else are we watching?
I'm watching a pirate show.
Yes, we are watching a pirate show. That will be in 2 seconds. Yes, I wanted to yell about How I Met Your Father for a little bit.
Oh, yes, please do. Let's hear what you fucking have to say about this. How dare you make me watch that? It's fucking awful. It was... now, I always say, I always try and give it 3. Could not. Barely made it to the first. I was so angry. About how poorly this was done. I don't know. I was just considering you. It's like, is he actually going to watch both episodes? I don't know if he's going to make it. I don't like. But here we go. You've been waiting for this. You've been excited for How I Met Your Father.
I did watch both episodes. Yeah. And honestly, Hilary Duff might have been the only reason I watched the second episode, because I do find her character very amusing. I think I can't even remember the guy who drives everybody everywhere.
The guy from Glow?
Yes.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but
he's amusing as well.
The ones that moved into the apartment there?
Yeah.
And the swords, supposedly. Come on, guys. What's going on here?
And I enjoyed the apartment. I wish the burn mark over the fireplace was visible or mentioned. Like, and that's it. It's like, I appreciate the Easter eggs, but if you're gonna point to them, wink at them. Like, and yeah, if you're gonna say like, oh, these people were like getting rid of this apartment, blah blah blah, like, yeah, like, also point out that I knew it immediately. I knew it from the hallway that it was the apartment, but it's there. I don't know. Yeah, I fully agree that I don't know what they did. I hate the sister. That is so annoying. The friend is amusing. The one that just like
the one that got engaged.
Yeah, the one that got engaged.
The only two characters I found mildly entertaining. The only two. Him and his girlfriend or his fiance. That was it. Everybody else. I hate them, Daniel. I couldn't fucking stand them.
It is definitely a different show, and it is very, I want to say, modern, because again, I know most of these people, and I don't like most of them. I'm not sure I like any of them, but I know most of those people.
Like the people from the show, or the characters from the show.
The characters from the show. And yeah. And the last thing I would say is I do enjoy the premise that the father is one of the group. I also hate that they keep cutting to the future way too often in the episodes.
That was fucking creepy. That was creepy. It's like, oh, I'm gonna call my grown son, and while I'm hammered here, and tell him about I had sex with his dad. I think he's not gonna just hang up the fucking phone on me in fucking 2 seconds.
Right?
I blocked the number forever.
It was so confusing. I could not tell what the hell was happening, but yeah.
It was fucking awful. It was awful. I don't understand it. Like even the acting was so wooden. It was terrible. There was no comedic timing in this thing at all. And they filmed it in front of a studio audience. That studio audience must have been there a long time, right? Like, I think when you film a show, I think the audience could be there for like 4 hours sometimes. I would have killed myself. I would have legitimately fashioned something and killed myself.
I wonder if it was, or if it was just freaking laugh track. Yeah.
Maybe it was. Maybe that they didn't have that live feedback to say this is fucking terrible. We got to do something. Like, yeah, it's like maybe try and act more natural and not so fucking wooden and like playing for the joke. Just let the jokes happen. God damn it! It was bad. It was fucking bad. I can't wait to watch each and every week. It's going to be my favorite show.
And yes, I have actually defended the laugh track of How I Met Your Mother. I do not enjoy most shows with laugh tracks, but I found, again, when the joke is actually funny and you actually time it properly, I find it's just used way too often in a lot of other sitcoms.
Was How I Met Your Mother not filmed in front of a live studio audience? It was filmed, it was just a set?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even worse. Okay. No, I didn't mind that. Like, I didn't mind How I Met Your Mother. I really liked it. I just didn't really much like the last season. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Yeah, unlike most multicams, How I Met Your Mother wasn't filmed in front of a live studio. They used canned laughter, but
I would rather watch that last season 100 times before watching 5 minutes of this How I Met Your Father. It was that bad. It was terrible.
Hell, I'll defend the last season of How I Met Your Mother and defend its laugh track.
Yeah.
But I really can't defend How I Met Your Father. Wow.
How dare they? I want to say
again, yeah.
How dare they?
Like, the worst part of it all is, again, like, I did like Hilary Duff's character. I hate her roommate.
And that British guy who's royalty for somehow, and they kick him out for having a one-night stand. So what the fuck is going on?
I do actually think he could have been more amusing in a smaller cast. I find the group is too big. I find, oh my god, there's so many things about this show that are just, but there are enough good things to just break my heart that it's so bad. Like, there are enough little tiny things that I'm like, this was good and this was nice, and I like that they changed but kept the theme, and like just little pieces that I can just latch onto and be like, I liked this part, and then like the whole rest of it is just, oh man.
Yeah, like guys, I noticed the theme song, so I was like, oh, okay. So it isn't gonna stray too far and stuff like that. And then the acting came, and it was just, not good.
And yeah, as we discussed before we started this show, we're never gonna make a worst of list. We're not like focusing on negativity, but we're also not gonna pretend to like How I Met Your Father.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. Yes. No, that was a
what I do like, though.
I'll never get back, and I am going to begrudge them until my dying day. But I had to give up 22 minutes of my life for that.
After waiting 2 months.
For you, maybe even more. Like, I'm sure if you knew there was a show coming from the How I Met
Your... Oh, yeah, I guess I was actually waiting for it since the show ended, because...
a thing in the universe, right?
This is actually the second version of How I Met Your Father. There was an option that was actually passed on. They revamped it and then launched it.
This is what they went
for. Yep. Oof. And yeah, because the original one was actually a spin-off with Kristen Milioti. And it would have actually been about the mother. And
oh, okay.
Yeah. And they canned that spin-off idea in favor of this one, I guess.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, I can see that other one. I can see the other one would be fine. Or even her character. Right. It doesn't have to be her acting. It's like that's the character going for it. I guess you have to start paying for retro looking sets and stuff by then if it's gonna go well. You just have to kind of make it. It's not like 2008 and 2021 or 22 look all that different. It's not like from 1978 to 1988 or something like that. You know what I mean? It's a huge difference.
And yeah, I'm so upset.
I was saying about you, it's like he can't like this. Like this cannot be what he hoped for. Like this cannot be it.
It was absolutely not what I hoped for.
Yeah, goddamn. Well, that's too bad. Yeah, I have zero interest in watching any other ones. And from us watching the shows and stuff, like the only other one that's happened like this was that justice show or whatever, Diamond Dallas Page on Netflix.
Guardians of Justice.
Guardians of Justice. I watched a couple episodes after that and like tapped out. I was like, that's not for me. But I did not have the same vitriol for that show as I do for this. It's like, like this, the other one didn't know any better. They were trying a whole bunch of shit, and I just felt it wasn't working. It's like whatever. These guys had a blueprint how to do the show. All they had to do was fucking act better, maybe write better. Obviously you're gonna try and modernize it, but nothing lands. Nothing.
And I think that is kind of fits it perfectly. It's not right better, because so much of How I Met Your Mother was improvised at the table.
Right.
One thing that I really enjoyed there was, and bringing it back to the laugh track, How I Met Your Mother could not have been filmed in front of a live studio audience because you wouldn't be able to hear the cast a lot of the time. You can see during the filming of that show, they cut to different shots of the booth, sometimes interrupting the person who is talking from being on screen because the person next to them has burst out laughing.
Yeah.
And like they have this tendency to break each other on that show that adds to the charm of the original, that is completely lacking in the, let's just call it, overproduced version that we got. Like it doesn't even seem like bad acting. I think everyone's doing a fine job. I think very worst case, it's bad directing, because
no, I'll throw that in there.
Yeah, is again, I think the actual actors are doing a good job. I don't think they have anything to work with, and they may not have the improvisational comedic skills of Jason Segel, Allison Hannigan, and Neil Patrick Harris. Like,
I've now seen Hilary Duff act in two things. I saw her act in that one episode here, and she was in one episode of Community. And I thought she was the exact same in both. So I don't understand how she keeps working, because she was not good. At least I did not believe she was very good at all. Yeah. One episode. So did you watch the second episode? Did you enjoy it any more than the first?
Honestly, not really. Yeah. I kind of enjoyed the first one more because it was just a bunch of little Easter eggs. And again, I really disliked the sister character, and she was less in the first episode and more in the second episode. So
The sister for the bar guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Bar guy's stepsister.
Yeah. Adopted sister. Adopted is full sister.
Oh. By the way. I didn't know it was adopted or stepsister or whatever.
One of the first things she says to set up like who she is, like obviously you can tell I was adopted, and like, I don't even know who that guy is. That's the only good line in the entire 30-minute episode. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah. Very, very disappointing.
Yeah.
So let's quickly. We won't have time to do a full deep dive, so we can talk about it a little bit, and we can do a deep dive on next week's episode of, one of the most fun shows I've been watching recently.
So fun.
The very opposite of How I Met Your Father.
Mm-hmm.
I've been loving all of the Blackbeard stuff. Has been really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited to meet him. I'm even more excited that he's playing a much larger role in the show than I thought he would be.
Yes.
And how far am I? Okay. I'm in episode 5 at the moment.
Okay. All right.
So I just got past the reveal of what Blackbeard's like real plan is as well.
All right.
We'll try and keep it like spoiler free, but everyone who believes Blackbeard is one thing is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I really love all of that. I cannot wait to see what happens.
That you haven't seen the other 2 episodes. I'm just gonna say, where have you got seen to in the 5th episode? This is the one about the party on the boat, right?
Yeah, only like 5 or 10 minutes. Like
have you seen anybody from the party on the boat yet? Have you been aboard that other boat? Oh, okay. I can be very limited in what I'm saying here because I'm not going to spoil anything for you. All I know is that there are people there that I was very happy to see, actors wise. Very excited to see. What can I say? That fourth episode though, the one that deals with him leaving and stuff, like where he's going through, the sickness of having been hung and then stabbed or whatever before he was saved. Thinking about how he left his wife and what a piece of shit Steed was and stuff like that. Well, that's been my least favorite episode so far. I didn't find it very entertaining at all. It was anytime they would turn to Blackbeard, you'd be waiting for more Blackbeard, except for being by his bedside and stuff like that. But you get to see Blackbeard, like you're like, okay. We should have a deeper dive just about the 5th episode next week because it's so good. And Taika Waititi as Blackbeard is so good and it's so fun. And just the other actors they have with them and stuff like that. It's so good, Daniel. How could you have not watched it? Goddamn, you done it again. So okay.
And like the 4th one is also really great too, though, with the freaking lighthouse and all of that. Like,
wasn't that the 3rd one? No, that was that was the 4th one. That was at the end. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The end of the 4th episode, and like again,
after he wakes up there and starts getting better. Yes, much better. And he shows him like his auxiliary wardrobe with the summer linen.
I've built secret passages all over the ship just for fun. Oh man, it is pretty wild, and I am super, super entertained. And really, if there was not 1,001 shows on right now, one of the main reasons I haven't watched all of the episodes is I just forgot. Yeah, I just haven't opened Crave in a while, so I've been busy on Amazon and Netflix and Disney Plus.
I woke up this morning and I said, "Oh shit, I haven't watched Mrs. Maisel yet." So that's why I had to watch it work. It was like, oh god, and I have to finish this. I have to do this. Oh my god, there's a lot of TV. But yeah, no, it's time. Well, what is that old saying? It's time well wasted. So yes, no, I had a great time watching it and stuff like that. Just having to get the actual time to sit down and do it has been a bit of a struggle of late. But now that Mrs. Maisel is wrapped up for this season, that gives me a couple extra hours a week. That'll fill with something. Like there's stuff coming. It's gonna be filled anyways. Oh yes, I can enjoy 1 week or whatever and catch up or try and finish off some stuff that I'd watched before. Oh, speaking of which, I finally finished off Cobra Kai.
Yeah?
4 of Cobra Kai. I fucking loved it. I loved it. It's just that right amount of cheese. It was fucking awesome. It's exactly what I wanted. Yeah. I can't wait for that the last season to come or whatever. It's going to be fucking great.
And also, just a small little tidbit. I believe to, circle back to the beginning of the episode where we talked about the boys.
Oh, sure.
There may have been a hint from Carl Urban that the next season of The Boys starts filming next month or so. So basically, they are saying, like, we're pretty much done writing it. And, like, maybe not all the lights are green yet, but we're ready. So
perfect.
That's, like, not confirmed, just a rumor. But, always fun to know that our favorite things are not only being, like, they're not even out yet, and they're already talking about furthering them down the lines.
Well, today, Manitoba got rid of all restrictions regarding COVID, so you don't have to wear a mask anymore. You don't have to prove vaccination. Well, there's some places that you're going to have to show vaccination status and stuff like that to get in, but like the provincial wide mask mandates off. So we know that film and TV crews are going to be starting up here again soon. But I know that it's happening in Ontario in, I think, 2 weeks or 3 weeks that they're going to be getting rid of the provincial mask mandates as well. So now if Toronto is going to be up and running, that means the boys can start filming whenever they want. There's going to be on the 21st. Oh, like the 21st of this month or of April? It's the 21st of this month. Wow. Okay. I thought, yeah. Well, yeah, that's only, oh my gosh. 1 week, a week from now. So, yeah, the boys will have free reign and won't have to do the COVID stop starts and stuff like that. Like in Manitoba, they're not even expecting you to self-isolate if you get COVID anymore. They're like, well, if you get it, you get it, I guess. You get it, you die, whatever,
Yeah, a lot of those like timelines were significantly decreased by the frickin' Pfizer pills that they came out with that are much better at treating it once you are infected versus the vaccine, which is better at treating you prior to infection, but also runs out of its efficacy. And I mean, this is a scientist podcast, and I'm not a scientist, but this is just what I've been able to gather, is that as it becomes easier to treat and easier to isolate and easier to get better, then restrictions can be eased. I mean, literally, the Quebec Premier the entire time has said, we are not fighting the virus, we are fighting the number of hospital beds we have. Like, that was the measure used for all of our mandates in our province.
Yep,
it had
100%.
Nothing to do with how many people were sick, only how many people were using up the hospitals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were taking the pressure off of your healthcare system that we pay for, and that other people have to use, people with cancer, etc.
Yeah, and like weren't getting to use anyway.
Yeah, well,
like they literally cut off like most non-required surgeries. Like if it wasn't an absolute emergency, and even then sometimes you weren't getting it.
Yeah, it was bullshit.
Very, very fun last 3 years or 30 years. Can't remember exactly. Time doesn't exist anymore. It'll be interesting to see if we ever get that back. So that's about all I have. Anything else to add before we head out?
Sure, you can follow me on my new 100% science-based podcast coming right up called Ask Professor Snark. It's going to be about me answering all the science questions because I'm the smartest one and I'm also a doctor. Don't believe what that guy said before.
I mean, it's technically Reverend Doctor, which isn't a PhD, but it is a title.
How dare you?
Look, I just got to be, truthful. This is a scientist podcast that we're preparing, so we're all about the truth here.
That's true.
Anyway, but other than that, where can the people find you?
You can find me here each and every week, and now I'm not watching Mrs. Maisel for a while, and I will certainly not be watching How I Met Your Father ever again. But we have lots of TV still coming up this month. And then hopefully in April, where it isn't a huge slog to get through everything every week, but it's not like it hasn't been enjoyable. I'm at Snark Yeti if you ever want to know how I did on fucking Wordle or whatever, or liking other people's shit, because I really don't post much. How about you, Daniel?
Pretty much the same Twitter-wise, different handle. I can be found at Corrupted Canuck. And yeah, first of all, if we're doing that, watch yourself, Dave, because when I win, I will have an interesting show for everyone to watch. So yeah, we'll see how mean we want to be with the challenge.
I was gonna be very nice.
I know, I was kind of planning on picking something good, but yeah. That show was so bad. Dave, you've ruined it. No. Yeah, so you can find me just around this internet space. I post even less often on Twitter because I don't even really play Wordle, let alone share it. Worst part is I don't even have all of the emoji packs, so I can't even see most people's Wordles. It's just a box with a bunch of X's in it most of the time. And that's all I can see.
It's on Rotary.
Sometimes all of the squares are just black, and I'm just like, what does that mean? Which ones are right and which ones are wrong? Who knows? But what I do know is start with the word Adzir, 4 vowels. And that's my little bit.
It was always pause before, but then pause got the one word or whatever, 100, like the first answer. The answer was pause. So I had to think of something else, and I went, sauce.
And there was one thing I wanted to mention before we headed out here, and it was just that in the last week, it was 5 days ago now, we are the 15th, so March 10th was the 25th anniversary of our favorite TV show. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was, 25 years ago was, wow. It's insane to even think about it. It's several types of video ago, so that's another way to look at it. Not even, it's pre-high def, it's pre-widescreen, it's pre almost everything we can think about, and still, kind of a lot of the effects hold up because of how many practical things they put into it, which is very surprising for a television show because it's expensive to put a person in prosthetics and makeup every single episode. And with the exception of Star Trek, most shows shy away from that so much. And kudos to the ones that actually do. And I mean, to this day, people are still copying Buffy. Like, did you see Infinity War? They still dust like vampires, just much slower now.
Yeah, and they kind of blow away instead of drop right down or whatever. But yeah, I was thinking about that too. It's like, oh, that's kind of Buffy-ish.
And yeah, so I did, like, I've been reading a bunch of posts from all of the cast throughout the week, just talking about the different things and how, honestly, it almost didn't become the success that it was. And it was through everybody who worked on that show that it did become such a great success. And a rather fine blueprint for a lot of television shows that followed it. That's about my spiel. I, again, don't need to plug myself. Rather plug awesome television shows that people should go watch, even if they premiered in '97. And, you know, I'll even warn you, first season's rough.
You thought the first season rough? I love the first season. Oh,
it honestly, like, the season is good. The standalones are rough. Like, yeah, I'm not a fan of Witch and Reptile Boy, but like once you get into season 2, like even the Monster of the Week episodes start becoming like their own special little things. Like, and even one of the worst episodes of the series, Ted, is, or not Ted, but it's about Ted. iRobot is the but yeah.
I'll never say a bad thing about John Ritter.
Yeah, I really like that episode, but it is like badly made. Even though, yeah, it is an interesting, fun episode. Look, I gotta be honest.
An evil Jack Tripper, and you're upset by it. God damn it.
So that's about it for us. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. And I hope you subscribe to the channel if you can. Definitely enjoy those numbers going up, and we hope everybody's leaving comments. We love seeing the live comments, but like after the show, if you're watching in post, throw some comments. It lets us know what people are enjoying. It lets us know what we should talk about in future episodes. It lets us know what dumb faces Snark should make next. And it lets us know to keep coming back every Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, whatever the other 2 times in between that are. I guess 6 and 7 would make sense.
Mathematicians or scientists.
Yeah, right? That was very funny. For myself, for Snark, for Dave in the back, and for the rest of the Northern Entertainment Group, have a great night and see you next week.